Hello, everyone. Welcome to my daily dose of dementia encouragement. Today, I would like to talk to everybody, whether it be those caring for someone living with dementia, those working in a dementia care setting, physicians, social workers, just the general public. And I want to talk about words and the impact our words have on each other and on ourselves. In my most recent career, a lot of the training that I did, I told everybody we have to start first by learning what philosophy is. What is the philosophy of quality dementia care? Then we can go on to some of the more specifics about it. But in that quality is, and keeping in mind, I'm a social worker by trade. So we really, all of our training is about looking at the individual and about, what's the term I'm looking for? Woo, I just lost it for a second. Anyway, but looking at the words that we use and how it impacts people. So I'm going to talk about some of the negative stuff and how all of us can help change it to more positive. So for those of you who maybe have been to a doctor's appointment with someone living with dementia, or just even an older adult, if you are that child with them, oftentimes, I bet you've experienced this, where the doctor just looks at you and talks about that individual as if they're not even there, because they're just talking with you and ignoring them. Can you imagine how that feels from their perspective? Number one, it is just so disrespectful in general. And we're talking about them and what's good for them. We need their input and we need to let them know that they're a part of this. So look at the words that you're using. Look at how we're treating people. We have to make sure that we are not treating those with dementia as if they're a child. The brain does change. I mean, there is no doubt on that. There are changes in the brain, and we do have to provide more support, but never, ever let somebody go by with talking about somebody becoming like a child, because what that implies is a lack of respect for that individual. We must realize that that individual still has lifelong experiences, lifelong accomplishments. They have done so much in this world. They have so much to give. And if we negate that by treating them like a child or acting as if they're a child, we're doing them a disservice, and our relationship with them is a disservice. So what started this and got me thinking about this is I went to a lecture recently that a physician here in town was giving. And he's a functional medicine doctor, and his focus is on working with individuals and trying to get their holistic life and diet really back on track. So I was really interested to hear what he had to say, but I'm going to look at my notes for this. So I'm jotting these notes down as he's talking, and he was discussing having an uncle who was diagnosed with dementia and his journey that he went on. But these are the words that doctor used. And this was in a setting there were probably 30 people in the room, many of whom were older. Quite a few of them I knew from watching and observing the partnerships, that probably quite a few of them had some early stage dementia, and they were there seeking help. These are terms that he used in discussing this. He talked about this devastating disease, this tragic disease, that it's all downhill. He talked about the people being patients. Granted, I know he's a doctor, but in my world, you're not a dementia patient. You're a person living with dementia. He talked about it robs them of their lives. It's chronic. It's not good. It's a plague. My uncle was no longer him. He's just a shell. And I have to tell you, I have a very hard time even listening to the good medical knowledge that he actually did have. I had to make myself really listen to those words, because all of his approach and his terminology was so defeatist. And I thought, what kind of message are you giving those people around you? So we need to stop and say, hey, This person has a condition that they're trying to figure out, that their family's trying to work out, and what can we do positively to help that? So listen to the words that people are using. And if they are, kind of stop them in their tracks. One of our key words in community living, I'm trying not to say company names anyway, but in community living is we talked very much about we were a community. We're not a facility. So if you're ever talking about long-term care or somebody moving someplace, listen to the difference on this. If you say, Mom, we're going to find a facility, they're going to take care of you, or you talk about placing somebody, we're going to put them there. What is the tone of all of that setting versus, hey, Mom, we're going to find a community where you can live and they have a lot of support there. Just those little phrases are so different. Old school terminology from senior living and skilled nursing and especially old memory care, and you still hear it today, is they talk about dementia patients. They talk about locked. It's a facility. They have a toileting schedule. They feed them. I mean, those words, or my favorite, not favorite, is what we let the residents do, as if we're in charge of them. I always reminded our staff, who lives here? Our residents are the ones who live here. This is their home. We come into their home and we work for them. We're not in charge of them. We are in charge of what we do with and for them. We're never in charge of the people who live in their homes. So I'm looking for, if you are ever going to a community to possibly look at the opportunity for your loved one to live there, listen to the language. Are they talking about a locked unit? Having a safe and secure environment is absolutely important. But would you as an individual want to live in a facility? No. I would rather live in a community, a locked unit. It just, all of those words imply a mentality. And if that terminology is being used, then this forward thinking of considering those individuals as people that are living in a community lifestyle, if we're using all of those other terminologies, the actions of that staff are not going to be what we're looking for. They're not going to be supportive. They're not going to be encouraging, finding purpose for people, right? We need to look out for their physical and purposeful needs and their emotional needs and spiritual needs and all of that. We don't just look at a checklist of, have they been toileted, right? Are there activities of daily living being taken care of? That's very old school mentality. Do we care about helping to make sure all of those needs are being met? Of course we do. But when we look at it more of a perspective of being a care partner, that's a terminology that is kind of a change over the years. Instead of being a caregiver, I'm going to do for you. I'm going to do everything for you because we know you can't do anything yourself. It's kind of what it implies, right? But when we talk about being a care partner, think about what that means. Imagine holding their hand and we're in this together, as opposed to, here, honey, let me do that for you. Let's talk words. I think I mentioned this on one of the other calls, but also those terms, honey, sweetie, baby, darling, those are not necessarily uplifting terms. I was at a restaurant on one of my last trips that I went on, and this waitress called me baby at least 8 times. And I have to tell you, by the 8th time, I was almost ready to say something to her. I mean, actually, okay, so I did. I won the bill. But it was just really grating on me. It felt demeaning. It didn't feel that it came across in a loving, caring way. Had she said, hi, my name's Rose. What's your name? Leslie, I got you taken care of. Versus, hi, baby, how you doing? I got you taken care of. How we come across to people means the world. How would you want to be talked to? Fast forward yourself to 20 years from now, 30 years from now, maybe you have dementia. How do you want to be talked to, talked with, partnered with? What kind of atmosphere do you want to have? So I'll tell you what, when you start really thinking about these terms and start changing your own verbiage on that, you're going to start noticing the difference in how you feel about what your role is and how you feel about them as an individual and about this new world that we're learning how to adapt to and help with. So I hope that was helpful. If you know anybody who's in this field, starting new in dementia care, please invite them to the channel. I would love to help them. They can reach out to me. I'll even get email and start talking with people. I love what I do. I love being able to support people. So anyway, everybody else have a great day, and we'll talk to you later.